Hello, everyone. My name is Pamela Dale, your GHL gal, and today I want to talk to you something maybe a little bit different. I would love you to sit and give me 10 minutes of your time because I think by the title, what 12-step programs taught me about business is not applicable to you. I know there would have been a time where I thought that was true for me as well. And it is a really strong connection to what I found out about people in general. It didn't matter if we were business people, it doesn't matter if we're in 12-step programs, it doesn't matter if we're in therapy, it doesn't matter if we're living in our mother's basement, it's all the same. And even with business owners that are doing really, really well, there's also this idea that how can we move forward? We are, as business owners, I think, really wanting to continually move forward in our business and to create the impact, money, etc. that we are looking for. So what is it that I'm talking about exactly? Well, let's go through a few slides and see if I'm able to articulate what it is I'm trying to say today. But actually, let me give you a little bit of backstory. Maybe share this story. So a long time ago, I was just trying to do the math. I was about 25 years old and I was living in Vancouver, Canada, and I was going through a breakup in my marriage. And the person that I was married to said I was an alcoholic and was trying to use that against me to get my custody of the children. I was going to say my children. They weren't my children. They were our children. And at the time, I thought, what? If that's true, then let me go to the program. Let me go and see. So I went to Alcoholics Anonymous. And I realize now that that's not the normal reaction for an alcoholic, right? But I was wanting to make a difference in my life. I was moving forward. I was going through this breakup because I wanted different for my life. And I certainly, of course, wanted custody of my children, right? Like that's a given. But when I was told this by this person and others that I thought were in my circle, that I thought were quote unquote friends or acquaintances, it became clear later on what was really happening. But at the time, being so young, I know 25 maybe doesn't seem young, but to me, looking back on her, I was like, she had no worldly experience. She came from Oxbow, Saskatchewan, Canada, and I didn't know anything about the world, and I grew up in an alcoholic home. So it makes sense that I married an alcoholic. And now I understand what the word projection means. And now I understand how I ended up there, why those things were being said about me. And it was purely, they were that, not me. But I am so grateful for the opportunity to have landed in those rooms for a number of reasons. First, I was born into an alcoholic home, so I had the adult children of alcoholics 12-step program was applicable to me. I was married to one, so the Al-Anon program was applicable to me. But really what it taught me was the life skills that I didn't have. And I still find myself quoting what I learned over the 5 years that I was in the program. One day, my sponsor, were having a conversation and she says, you know, you're not an alcoholic, right? And I go, yeah, I know. And I kind of from there just stopped going, but have carried with me all of the lessons that I learned. And I want to share the one that I think today. And I think if you like this topic, let me know, give me hearts, give me love, give me lots of things, because there are 1,000 lessons that I think are applicable to each and every one of us. So let's take a look at the slides and let's see what we've got going on. So let me go into presentation mode here for us. And let's get started. So what 12-step programs taught me about business? Yes, there is a few lessons here. I would really love you to stay with me. So how many of you seen this meme, right? Funny how we hear the same thing over and over and over again. And then one day someone says it to me in a way that makes it sound just a little bit different. You ever notice that when you hear the same thing and then some days it just hits you a little bit stronger? And this has happened for me recently as I've gone and created some really big goals. And this is where this is linking. So let me just read from my notes a little bit here. If you say the grass is greener somewhere else, you mean that other people's situations are always better or more attractive than your own, right? And then we hear phrases like this, right? Or these little anecdotes. I love these. Like, I used to say them all the time, and I realized now I had no idea what they really meant, right? The grass is greener where you water it. Make you want to throw up. And then, of course, this one. I'm too busy working on my own grass to notice if yours is greener. Let's throw a little bit more shame in the works, right? Like, we need more of that in life. We certainly don't. And here's what is the thing I want to talk about. It's the geographical cure. This is what we used to call it in Alcoholics Anonymous, and it's everywhere you go, there you are. And in an attempt to cure, this is from AA, in an attempt to cure or escape the disease of addiction, we attempt to cure it, right, by moving to a different geographical location in hopes that the distance from people, places, and things associated with the drinking, because of course it's always someone else's fault, or it's because this town's too small, or everybody goes and hangs out at that bar, I can't do that anymore, so I better move, right? And this will give us that really crooked thinking, if we call it that, right, which we did sometimes in AA. It is that abstinence will be easier or maybe unnecessary. But what you find is this: everywhere you go, there you are. What am I saying? I'm saying that 99.999999% of the time, I am the problem. And what's happening when we're looking at the grass is greener, all of these different things, we think in business, we think that when we reach the goal, that's when things are going to be better. Over there, I'm going to be happy, fulfilled, get the things I need, everything is going to be okay, I won't feel as anxious, I won't hate day to day as much, all of these things. And this is where it is really, really, really powerful to understand. You don't need to be an alcoholic or a child of an alcoholic to feel this way, right? You have an inability to feel content with your life as it is, and you relentlessly seek something better. This is why, if you've ever heard of the 2 Comma Club Award by ClickFunnels, most of the people, when they hit the award, and I've had numerous of them tell me this, it just wasn't what I thought it was. And it's because we were associating the goal with the feelings that you and I want, and we think it's outside of us in another place at another time. And this is where this geographic cure or a time or an award is going to cure things for us. But here's the problem. Have you ever gotten somewhere and was like, is this it? And maybe you feel like that right now in your business, right? Every day it's a little bit of a grind, right? It's like, holy crapola. What if we were talking about something different? And how is this affecting your business? Let's run through the list. This is a doozer, okay? So this is where I want you to really kind of sit in with me, cuddle in with me for just a minute. I work with business owners all day long. I am one, so I'm incredibly familiar with these points. And it's this: constantly noticing what is wrong. If you are in a situation, and it doesn't matter if it's business or otherwise, if you're in traffic, the train, the book, whatever it is, and you're noticing what is wrong with it versus what is right with it, because one over the other doesn't negate the other. Sometimes we think that if we're just going to point out all the negative, right? This is where we sit. If you're constantly doing that, you're thinking about it's going to be different somewhere else. Be careful. Being critical and complaining often. You and I didn't realize how much I did this, but you and I have people in our circle, you'll hear them. I'm hoping you hear them now because you're going to want to distance yourself. And if it's you saying those things, flip it, flip it, flip it. If you have a tendency to be a perfectionist, I work with female business owners specifically, but business owners in general, and there's this thing around perfectionism, always on the lookout for the next opportunity. This is what we call squirrel syndrome. It's a bigger problem. Wait till you hear where we're going with this. Sabotaging things often or running away. This is called, this isn't going to work, let me go get the next offer. I have a tremendous amount of slides and documents and folders and Google Drive full of stuff I never, ever, 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 ever sold. If I had half the time back, I'd be 10 years younger, right? And unable to commit to things. This list gets longer. Future focused to the point you never enjoy the present. This is me. This is where this really kicked in for me, was the day-to-day of my business has become a bit of a grind. Thinking, oh, one day. Feelings of being trapped. How many of you in your business at the moment feel like, holy crap, what did I buy myself, right? You bought yourself a job. Uncomfortable with boredom. You're constantly using phrases like what if only. Tendency towards all talk, no action. Or all talk, wrong actions. Scrolling on Facebook. And making impulsive decisions, and you really are starting to wonder, is this business even working? And here's the danger. Today sucks, right? You think when you get to the goal, it's going to be different. Where does this originate? Here's our problem. You're going to see this in everyone who has trauma, and this is where these addictions come from. You're going to see it in people, and people run businesses. And this is where we are stuck. And let me read this. Grass is greener syndrome is rarely a goal, but instead of a habit of attention. What you pay attention to is driven by your low self-worth. And it doesn't lead to a sense of achievement, but to spinning your wheels. If we do actually move towards the life we think will be better, we will just end up focusing on what is wrong with that situation too. Can you hear the pattern? And this is what happens in Alcoholics Anonymous as well. We see people move. This is why your people in your life, perhaps yourself included, you can see the pattern. And it's all based on this low self-worth and this wanting to find a new something better. Not realizing we have to take us with us again. And here's our addiction. We're addicted to feeling bad. That's it. How many of you, if you could tell yourselves the truth, I'm getting emotional. Your brain is comfortable here. You don't know how to switch it to believe new things, to do new things. You are actually addicted to feeling bad because you complain. You look at complaints. You look at what's not working. This is where you are. Here's the thing about the grass is greener syndrome. Often we are secretly more in love with the torture of feeling like a failure than having the thing we actually claim that we want, AKA a business, AKA success, whatever you define that as for yourself. So, of course, we're going to move into a solution, but I want you to see, and in the secrets and confines of your own heart, mind, and soul, is there any truth to this? And admitting that, because it is the truth, is what you're going to need to move forward. If you do not admit this, what I would do is grab your soft blanket and your chips. That's what I like to do. And go to your room and turn on Netflix and drop the business. Just drop it. Let it go, because the psychological trauma of you fooling yourself, and that's what this is, this business stuff. And I fooled myself for way too long. I didn't realize this is what it was. Now, the cure for me took a lot because of the love that I had. Maybe yours isn't as bad as mine. Maybe yours is worse than mine. But there's also something that's stronger than yours. As a result of having a level of trauma, just like the pendulum, it goes from here to here. Mine was here, so I believe my goals and dreams are at the equal on the opposite side and are incredibly strong. And I've been looking my whole life for the answer. And I honestly thought it was the grass is greener, let's go, let's move, because I didn't know differently. Today I know differently. And thanks to this, so do you. There's a level of responsibility now with this new information. You cannot go back to unknowing this. This is what we learned in Alcoholics Anonymous as well. Once it was there, it was there. Once you admitted you were an alcoholic, you could never go back. It just didn't work. It ruined it for some people, right? I remember them saying that, like, now I'm here, like, I can't enjoy drinking anymore. And they go back out and they come back in and they're like, it wasn't as fun as it used to be. Welcome to the truth. So what's the solution 50-50? This is a concept I learned from Nima Ramani out of Vancouver. I learned it 3-4 years ago. I also learned it from Book Castillo from my life coach school where I'm involved now. And this is what's brought this about even more, because why would I make a goal for $10 million when I don't technically need $10 million? I live in Mexico. $1 million, geez, I don't think I can spend it all. What's the purpose of the goal? The purpose of a goal is to become the person that would make that money, that would build a business that would make that money, that would create that much value in the world. That's what I want to become. And as a result, I need to change me, because I know I will do nothing more than burn out 500 times to get to that goal, because I've done that before. And that starts that cycle that we're in, that you're in, that we're all in. So what do I mean by 50-50? I got kicked out of science in school. If you stay with me long enough, you'll know that. And it makes sense growing up the way I grew up, that I was looking for attention and I couldn't deal with him. He actually looked like Beaker from the Muppets. But anyway, that's another story for another time. And Mr. Merrick, I wonder if he's still alive. And I didn't get math as a result, or I didn't understand science as a result, or I didn't understand the universe and the world and how things worked as a result. I didn't understand physics. And that is, it's impossible to have an up without a down and a left without a right and a good without a bad. Your life right now, I love the post at the end of the year. Oh my God, 2023 sucked. I hope 2024 is going to be better. No, it won't be, because you focused on the 50% that sucked. Because it's impossible. And try it on for size. Don't take my word for it. Your focus is addicted to what sucks, so you can't see the 50% that's good. Because it's not possible. It's not possible. It's not possible. The science and the math don't add up. What is this side has an equal and opposite this side. Think moon, think dark, think night, think up, down, all of it is exactly 50-50, and so is your life. It's what you're focusing on that matters. So if you do not learn how to change your thinking from the extremes that you think, I thought I was negative all the time. You wouldn't think looking at me I was. I really was. I thought that was the logical thing to do. Don't get too big for your boots. Like, don't get out there thinking everything's all fancy, right? You're going to get let down. That sounds like trauma to me. That doesn't sound like the truth to me, right? So change your thinking. When something bad happens, look for the good at the exact same moment. And I'm talking about the worst thing that happened to you, like some of the worst things that happened to me, some of the greatest things that were happening at the same time. And even years later go and try it on for size. And your brain is going to go, what is Pamela talking about? She don't understand how bad it is for me over here. And all that is your brain kicking in going, we're going to conserve energy, we're going to seek pleasure, and we're going to avoid pain. And what you're talking about right here might be painful, it might be scary out there. Let me just focus on what's comfortable. You are addicted to feeling shitty. Please know that that's what's going on. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Solution. One of the solutions, I didn't understand gratitude till this started to really kick in for me. Call it the other 50% that you're not looking at, right? Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. What are you grateful for? Think of a relationship. Just say, for example, this person does this, but they're also doing this. Are you actually looking for what they're actually doing that is working? And we're not getting into boundaries and all the other that we got that. It's another day. Mindfulness. Staying in the now, because all of your problems are future based. You're in the future thinking it's going to be better out there versus what's better right now. And you're looking at yesterday and interpreting what's happening now based on what happened yesterday. You're nowhere near mindful. And this is where your brain's going to start to kick in again. But it really comes down to, what is it that you say you really want? And this one's going to hurt. I want you to do a taste test. What you say you want, and this really clicked for me when the person that I was listening to and reading this from over the years said, go and live with a skinny person. And really, really, really understand if I want to be skinny. Because what actions a skinny person does, the thoughts that a skinny person has day to day, the actions, all of it. Am I willing? I'm certainly able and capable if I have the goal, but am I actually willing to do the work to become that person? So I give you that example because that might make sense for you, but it's also in business. This idea that you've got a 4-hour work week, or this person's marriage, or this person's business is making $1 million. Do you really want what you say you want? And are you willing to do the work that's necessary to take you where you need to go? We started talking about 12-step programs. Look where we landed. Hallelujah. This is what we're really talking about. Go and sit in a living room with somebody who's making $6 million a year. I have done that. I have sat across the table from these people, and the problems they were dealing with, I wasn't sure I had the guts for. Do I have the capacity to manage money to the degree that I'm going to need to? Do I have the ability or the willingness to wrangle my own brain, who wants nothing more than avoid pain, seek pleasure, and conserve energy? That's all she wants to do. But there's this part, the front part, that has the goals and the dreams and things that can do everything, and they're in conflict. And if I know that this is a link, if I know that this is where we're headed, if I know that this is what's going on, things are different, yeah? So let me look at you in what my mom used to say, like right in your eyes, right? And see if this is resonating for anybody. Anybody listening, give me hearts, give me comments, give me all the things. And let me see if I can see even any comments windows. And we'll go from there. The comments window has disappeared, but you know what? We can deal with that. Overlays, comments. I'm in Ecamm, I'll find it. So if you've left me a comment, I appreciate it. But give me hearts. Does this make sense? It changed my life. Alcoholics Anonymous changed my life on so many levels. And if you like this topic, let me know, because there are so many more pieces that I think are important. And there's one last slide that I actually didn't get to. I didn't get to this one. Let's jump back on this one just quickly, because I actually think this is really important. And it was call your sponsor. If you were tripped up in your head, call your sponsor. And what is that? It's a business bestie. Right? My best friend, Nancy Laird, who's passed away now, used to say to me that my mind was a dangerous place to go alone. I needed to get out, get talking to people. And the moment I did that, she said it was almost like it gives God just a couple of moments to go in and sweep up a little bit. Because I would come back with a new sense of understanding and awareness of who I am and what I'm capable of, because she loved me more than I've ever been loved in my life. Except for more now, I love myself more. But at that time I didn't, right? So you need a business bestie. That could be me, that could be anyone, but make it a point to go and find one. I have an appointment tonight, CEO Playdate, new little group that I found, $15 a month. Now let me try it on for size. Fellow Canadian, lots of Canadians up there. Let's see. I hope it's a new place for me to find some more people that I can have types of conversations with, because I'm not able to have any other type of conversation. So if you're in my world, you'll know this. Next week, I don't know what we'll get up to. Maybe we'll talk about software. If you'd like to join me, same time, same place. See you later. Thanks for joining.